We've known since the draw up of 300,000 plus new recruits in Russia that it was probably not a good sign of how the war effort was going. You had this big army that was supposed to be so capable, and now you need to bring in random people who've never held a gun. It didn't look good. The fact that almost instantly it was clear that they weren't equipping them or training them properly didn't look good. And all the evidence since then has been bad too. It's getting worse now as more of those soldiers are talking to international media. Russian commanders apparently told soldiers drafted to go to Ukraine that they would never see combat, only for them to be killed in battle shortly after. So they were trying to reassure the soldiers, okay, sure, we're not giving you equipment. You have no idea what you're doing. You're not trained for literally anything, but don't worry, you're not actually gonna be fighting. And then they instantly send them to the front and they die by the tens of thousands, just devastating. Drafted members of one particular brigade, the 155th Naval Infantry, told the New York Times that their unit consisted of factory workers, truck drivers, and a former barista, some of whom had shockingly little experience with firearms. They severely lacked food, equipment, they had no maps, no medical kits, working walkie-talkies, or even enough bullets. However, they said they were not afraid because their commanders reassured them that they wouldn't be in any actual combat. Now, how did that work out for one particular group? One drafted Russian soldier, identified only as Mikhail, told the paper about a day in October when he witnessed many of his fellow soldiers dying near the eastern Ukrainian town of Pavlivka. Out of the 60 members of his platoon, he said about 40 were killed. Only 8 escaped serious injuries. This isn't war, he said. It's the destruction of the Russian people by their own commanders.
Ugh.
Every single bit of it is needless now as it was a week ago, a month ago, 6 months ago. This feels so much like Vietnam or Iraq. We know where this is going. Russia seems to understand where this is going. The only question is, when does someone who cares more about saving face and their political aspirations finally weigh the countless needless loss of life on a daily basis more?
I mean, in some ways it's worse than Vietnam. Like Vietnam, there was a draft, right? This is you're drafting, but they're getting paid. Like they are, it's not required that they go fight on the front line. I believe they're being told that it won't be that bad. And arguably, I mean, the US legitimately lost Vietnam War. They were trained, there was training, there was a lot of weapons, but the Viet Cong won. They were better trained. It was their territory. Like I don't want, like, you know what I'm saying? This is basically like, it's just strongman buffoonery, and you see it on Twitter with Elon Musk, and then you see it with Vladimir Putin, this pig-headed, delusional idiocy of I want Ukraine, therefore I take, and yet I have no plan. I do not care who dies in conquering Ukraine, and I don't even know how to do this. I'm not even doing this well. And so again, it's just insane to me to be like, oh, it's not really a war. We're just gonna take the capital of another country. How is that not really a war? It's not really a war. They're just being funded by the biggest military on the face of the earth, the United States. Yeah. And so I feel for the Russian soldiers and the families and everyone who's being reined into this and dying.
Yeah, it's devastating. I see a comment from Shiva saying, so should we feel sorry for Russian soldiers or condemn them? Well, certainly if they're committing war acts, we should be condemning them, but I also feel bad for people who probably have no interest in this conflict. I feel like none of this has anything to do with those Russian people. Like this is not actually, you can give whatever nationalistic speech you want as an oligarch. You do not care about, Putin has not lost a moment of sleep for that barista being shot in the head. Can we be clear about that? And so, sure, look, there's plenty of things about the Russian government that I think it's clear I've had a problem with for a while. But I don't think that this war as it came about as a result of the Russians desperately thinking that this needs to happen and pushing for it to continue no matter how bad it is. And bear in mind, they get a very small amount of the accurate news of what's going on in Ukraine. So we have to judge them somewhat accordingly. They don't know what we know about what is happening there. Both the losses as well as the victories from their point of view, the absolutely devastating war crimes, through death, through rape, through relocating people, the genocide that is being acted out against Ukraine right now. And continues, by the way. Dozens of kamikaze drones were just dispatched over the last night to take out. They're trying to effectively take out any ability for people in Ukraine to produce warmth during the winter. That's what they're trying to kill civilians by making it not habitable. And that is devastating. And I don't know how much the Russians know about that.